As I said, I'm back after watching the Penguin finale, and yes, it is as phenomenal as I had told you guys about in the short. It took me about half a day to really deal with all that has happened. There is so much to unpack in this show that I could have actually done a review of each episode, but that would have been overkill. And already I've been told that I'm the only one watching my reviews. So I'll spare myself the horror and do just one review which rounds about the entire season. So let me just clarify. I am in love with the Matt Reeves Gotham. I am in love with how Matt Reeves treats this entire world. He just gets it. I have said this enough number of times before. He just understands the DNA of what Gotham is all about, of what each of these characters is all about. He understands Batman, he understands the villains, and not the people masquerading in costumes. No, the previous Gothams that we've seen, a lot of them, especially on TV, are all about characters masquerading as superheroes slash villains. That's not really what the core of Batman is. That's not really what the DNA of Gotham is. Matt Reeves gets it, and if you have not been able to watch the Batman, Matt Reeves' Batman starring Robert Pattinson, I would suggest that you start from the Penguin as well. While this show, the first episode, the first scene in fact starts where the movie finished. So it's exactly a continuation of where the Matt Reeves Batman finished. But having said that, it doesn't carry over anything from a narrative standpoint. It's a continuation, yes, but it's a standalone series in its own right. It starts and culminates. And so you do not need to watch the next Batman. You do not need to watch the previous Batman. Unlike a lot of multiverses or cinematic universes where the episodes are created, where the series are created as fillers, but they want to make sure that you watch the film, then you watch the series, and then you watch the film. So I'll say it outright that yes, I've been a fan of Marvel, but I have also gone ahead and said this on record that it's gotten too much, too boring, and I do not want to follow each and everything to enjoy whatever I'm watching. It needs to feel wholesome in its own right, and Penguin, the show, feels just that. Just so that I'm not biased about the fact that Matt Reeves' Gotham is coloring my judgment, let me say this, that I'm gonna talk about the Penguin as much as possible without the foreshadow or the weight of the Batman universe. Because that is the power and the beauty of this show, that you do not need the crutches of a superhero universe for this to work. The Penguin, aka Oswald Cobblepot, was introduced originally in the Matt Reeves Batman, but he has about 3 scenes in that. Colin Farrell does a fantastic job in Batman itself, but he just takes it to some other level in this show. I mean, these 8 episodes, you will not find Colin Farrell even if you look hard for him. This is Penguin. This is Oswald Cobblepot through and through. There is no sign of Colin Farrell whatsoever. Whether it's the scenes where he's scheming, or he's coming across as this filthy, sneaky man, or the emotional scenes, none of them will you find Colin Farrell. It is a phenomenal take on this character. Hair and makeup artist, guys, hats off to do what you guys have done, and for Colin Farrell to justify your effort and your talent with the talent of his own. But I'm gonna get to that in a little bit, and there is more to talk about that. But bringing it back, Penguin, the TV series, is the story of Oswald Cobblepot. Like I said, he was introduced in the Batman, but here you go deep into his world, you go deep into his mind and try and understand what makes him work. And it is disturbing. It is beautiful, yes, but it is disturbing to see a man who is this selfish and who is this self-absorbed. Like I said, the Penguin does not need the crutches of the superhero universe to work. It works standalone. You take away all of this, the peripherals of it. At the core of it, the Penguin is a crime, mafia, mob story. That's what it is, and it's a really good one. Yes, I know people have been comparing it to Sopranos and saying that it's not nearly as good. And yes, guys, you don't compare every batsman who can bat well to Sachin Tendulkar. There is only one. So Sopranos is pretty much like that. It's the epitome of mob series, crime series. And similarly, you don't compare every mob film to what Scorsese is able to dish out. No, you don't. But in its own right, The Penguin is a fabulous, fabulous series. It's really a must watch, and for so many reasons that I'm going to get into. First off is the overall writing of this show. The construct of these 8 episodes is beautifully done. The right pace, the right mood. In every episode, there is plenty for you to absorb, plenty for you to think about, and it leaves you perplexed in most of these episodes. So yeah, you have to be prepared for that. There are a lot of unexpected turns because you think that you understand the Penguin, you think you understand Oz, but you don't. Yeah, I found out the hard way that I don't. I was surprised till the last scene. Writing is fantastic. The way it creates these 8 episodes and stitches them together, I think the screenplay is fabulous. Moreover, I think it's the brilliance and the depth of character, the way these have been written, is why the show is able to stand apart from everything else that's been done in the DC universe before. Because they really go deep and the actors perform to the writing and maybe sometimes even beyond that writing. So there is a scene that I remember where Oz is making a speech to all the other smaller gangsters and their henchmen or number twos. That scene, the way it's been written, is fantastic, guys. You have to absorb, listen to each damn line. It is so beautifully written. And Colin Farrell delivers even above that. He punches above that writing's weight, which was almost impossible to do. Because when you read that, you think that yes, you have a winner here. Anyone who can deliver these lines to a reasonable extent is gonna have what we needed for this scene. But Colin Farrell, he just goes above and beyond in this scene. I was in love with this scene. I have rewinded it and seen it. Rewinded. I don't even know if that's a word, but I went back to see it. Does anyone rewind anymore? Sorry. The second bit that makes this show work is the art direction. It is fantastic. It is beautiful. Every little detail. There are so many finer points and finer details in constructing the characters, in constructing the Gotham that you are seeing and you are absorbing. Films, TV, all of this is make-believe, right? And what makes this work, the only and the biggest point that makes it work is suspension of disbelief. You have to believe that what you're watching is real. You have to believe that what you're watching is actually happening. Not to you, but to someone. And it needs to feel believable in that world. That's the biggest point that makes any good thing work, from Rang De Basanti to Schindler's List. So when you talk about Gotham, when you talk about the Penguin, the construct, the way it's been created works. You can believe each and every character, you believe each and every moment, and you know that somebody like Oz can do this, and all of this can happen to somebody like Oz. Moving on from the writing and the art direction is the overall direction, the mood that the directors set in, the entire team and the showrunner, all of these guys, the way they create this mood. Every episode, the way it starts, and then there is a moment where the Penguin is written on screen. That entire portion in every episode is constructed masterfully. So damn good. So damn good. And there are plenty of other moments where the camera work and the direction are just fantastic. The close-ups that these guys use for Oz and Sophia Falcone, and I'm going to get to Sophia Falcone in a bit because the Penguin review cannot be completed without the beautiful, the eccentric, and the magnificent Christine Moletti playing Sophia Falcone. I am sorry if I got the pronunciation wrong. Yeah, the close-ups are fabulous. There is a scene where Sophia Falcone burns down a lot of things, and the scene is, one of the shots depicts her lighting 3 cigarettes in one go and then dancing away to glory and throwing away 1 cigarette at a time. But that burning of these cigarettes and the burning of the clothes and the bed are reflected in her eyes, and the shot is taken from that. It is gorgeous. It is beautiful. I remember the Matt Reeves Batman where there is a scene with an upside down penguin in a car, and there's a big blast behind him and he thinks that Batman is dead, and then Batman walks in through that fire. It is gorgeous, poetic, beautiful, all of that. So there are a lot of these moments, maybe not as epic as the Batman film because the scale isn't the same, but still beautiful nonetheless. Another small detail, after which I will get into the performances. The small detail which I loved, is very close to my heart on this show, is the end credits. The way these end credits are designed is beautiful to watch. I wait for that. I skip the next episode or whatever else that Geo Cinema wants me to watch after the Penguin, but I do not watch that. I just absorb the end credits, the beauty with which all of these are designed and put up on screen. It is fantastic. Please do watch. On to the performances. I have spoken about Colin Farrell. The world has spoken about Colin Farrell as well as Christine Moletti. But guys, no matter how much you talk about them, it's just not enough. That is the level of performances that you guys will see when you watch the Penguin. These guys bring these characters alive and take them to a level that nobody else has done before. Yes, a large part of it has to do with the writing in terms of the construction of this Penguin, because the Penguin originally from the comics was a short, stout man. Yes, as cunning, as selfish, as Oz Cobblepot in this show. Colin Farrell brings it home, and how he is phenomenal in every episode, and you do not need to wait for more than 10 minutes to realize that. First episode, in the first set of sequences where he's talking to a Falcon, I'm not gonna say who because I don't want to reveal too much, but he's talking to one of the Falcons and he doesn't like what this person has to say. And that entire conversation is a thing of beauty. Seriously, the writing is once again fabulous, but the way Colin Farrell delivers this is just phenomenal. This is a role that he was born to play. I'm so happy that he's done this, and I'm glad that people have loved it, because what it means is we get to see more of him. We get to see more of this character, whether it's in the series, whether it's in the film. It's going to be more of him, which is going to be great. More of his performance and the little tics that he does, the mannerisms that he has on Penguin. There is a thing that he does with his tongue and with his nose to bring about that bird-like mannerism. Overall, the bird-like vibe and feel is beautiful to watch. And I've already spoken about hair and makeup, but then the entire way that they've constructed his face, there are lines here. Every time he stresses, you can see extra, visible veins on his forehead and around his face to make it more angrier and more almost like a beaky sort of a face, like an angry bird of sorts, to make it even more pronounced that we are talking of the Penguin. Now, the highlight is obviously Colin Farrell, Penguin, but his relationship with his trusted henchman / sidekick Vic, and that relationship fosters beautifully over the 8 episodes. It is a fantastic thing to watch, and the fact that Vic comes into his own through these 8 episodes is really heartening to watch. Coming to the biggest surprise package of this show, while I knew Colin Farrell is going to do a great job because I'd already seen that in The Batman, but Christine Milioti as Sophia Falcone, guys, the Hangman. I am not super happy that they changed a little bit on the backstory, but then again, I have said this myself that if they don't try new things will never happen and we'll never get new stories. So I'm going to let it pass, because everything else is just so damn good and so on point that this small little detail I can happily ignore, because Christine Milioti is unbelievable in this show. It is a surprise package for me, because yes, I've seen some bit of her work for sure. Everybody's seen her as the mother in How I Met Your Mother, but you would have never seen her like this. You would never imagine her to pull something like this off, and at that level with that flair and finesse. It is fantastic to watch. The layers with which we deal with here is fantastic, and Sophia Falcone is a personification of that. There is always something going on in her mind which is being projected on screen. Every time she's saying something, you know that brain is continuously working, and sometimes working in parallel against what she's saying. And all of this is so beautifully depicted, so beautifully captured. Sophia and Christine Milioti delivers this. It's unbelievable. It's uncanny. I can't stress this enough, guys. You have to watch this show. All of this together creates a universe, creates a world full of mob bosses, gangsters, backbiting, backstabbing, politics, and all of this comes together so well that you don't for once realize that you are watching a superhero series, because the feel of it is completely of a crime thriller overall. And that's why I say that Matt Reeves gets Gotham, because the underbelly of Gotham is this. The mob bosses, the crime families, the way it's depicted here is brilliant. And you would obviously compare this with the likes of Sopranos and any other Italian mafia, because that's what these writings were based on. From Falcone to Maroni's, all of these guys, the way these writings were, it's based on the 50s, 60s, 70s mob bosses. So obviously there would be similarities. So I'm going to go ahead and say, if you want to watch a beautiful crime drama, a fantastic hard-hitting crime drama, The Penguin is for you. Does not matter whether it's based in the Batman universe, the DC universe, whatever you want to call it. It is a crime drama that you should be watching, you should be loving. And if you're a fan of Batman, if you're a fan of this world, all of this, then guys, it's a no-brainer. You're going to flip for sure. You're going to be going gaga over the series till the next Batman comes in late next year. Oh, that's too long. But yes, the next Batman comes in next year. I cannot wait for that. And I hope that you guys love watching The Penguin. I highly recommend this. Do go and watch it. It's available on Geo Cinema. Shout out to everybody associated with this show. Matt Reeves, take a bow. I love what you are doing. I love what you're building. Hats off. Take care. Let me know if you thought differently. Let me know if you agreed on some of these points. Would love to chat about it.